only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. In this world, no one can be you except you. Every fingerprint, every thought, every desire is uniquely yours, crafted to belong only to you. Yet sometimes, that uniqueness feels like a burden, especially when you try to fit in, to be accepted, or to mirror someone else. You forget that true value lies not in how much you resemble others, but in how authentically you embrace who you are, in your own unique way. Imagine if life were a choir where every voice sounded exactly the same. It would lack vibrancy, harmony, and anything worth listening to. The world thrives on differences, on individuals who dare to live boldly and express their true selves. And you were born to do exactly that, not to be a replica of someone else, but to write a story only you can tell. The journey to being yourself is never easy. You'll face judgmental stares and words that make you question your worth. But remember, no one else has the right to define your value. When you have the courage to live authentically, you free yourself, and in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. True freedom doesn't come from being accepted by others. It comes from accepting yourself. Life will always pressure you to change, to take a path that others believe is right for you. But if you abandon your true self to please everyone, you'll lose the most precious thing you have, the essence of who you are. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs you, living fully and unapologetically as your truest self. So, take pride in what makes you different. Love every scar, every failure, and every dream that only you can understand. Because it's only when you are truly yourself that you are truly alive. And in that authenticity, you'll discover that your uniqueness is the greatest gift you can offer to the world. The books that the world calls immoral are books that show the world its own shame. No good deed goes unpunished. All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does, and that is his. The only difference between the saint and the sinner is that every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. It is absurd to divide people into good and bad. People are either charming or tedious. Life is too important to be taken seriously. Experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. The public is wonderfully tolerant. It forgives everything except genius. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people whom we personally dislike. I have the simplest tastes. I am always satisfied with the best. A man who does not think for himself does not think at all. The only thing to do with good advice is to pass it on. It is never of any use to oneself. Fashion is a form of ugliness, so intolerable that we have to alter it every 6 months. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all. Life, in its purest essence, is not merely about breathing and passing through the days. It is a canvas waiting for you to paint with the colors of emotions, bold dreams, and small yet meaningful moments. Yet so many people choose to drift through life like aimless travelers, existing without truly pausing to see, to feel, or to ask themselves the question, am I living or am I merely surviving? Existing is easy, but living is not. Existing means following the routine, waking up, working, and repeating. But living is about breaking free from those patterns. Living is being fully present in each moment, allowing your soul to soar in joy, and even finding meaning in pain. It's noticing the beauty in the simplest things, a sunset painting the sky, the laughter of someone you love, or the quiet triumph of facing a fear you thought you couldn't overcome. But why do so many of us choose merely to exist? Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear that if we step out of our comfort zones, there will be nothing to catch us. Yet, if you let fear hold you back, what's waiting for you? A life filled with regrets? Or a restless soul that always yearned to live but never dared? Remember, living isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity. You don't have to do something monumental to prove that you're alive. Sometimes living simply means loving deeply, taking a leap of faith, or pausing just long enough to feel the wind brush against your face. To live is not to count the days, but to let each day count for something that stirs your heart and makes you grateful for the gift of being here. Start living today. Even if it's just one small step, saying words of love you've held back, trying something you never thought you could, or simply looking up and appreciating the world around you. This life is yours, and it's your responsibility to make it a story worth telling, not just a series of passing days. Don't let life be merely existence. Live authentically, boldly, and brilliantly, as only you can. To define is to limit. Consistency is the last refuge of the unimaginative. Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. A poet can survive everything but a misprint. An idea that is not dangerous is unworthy of being called an idea at all. Life is far too important a thing ever to talk seriously about. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing worth knowing can be taught. I am so clever that sometimes I don't understand a single word of what I am saying. A bore is someone who deprives you of solitude without providing you with company. A cynic is a man who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. A dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. A man's face is his autobiography. A woman's face is her work of fiction. A thing is not necessarily true because a man dies for it. America is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without civilization in between. Anybody can sympathize with the sufferings of a friend, but it requires a very fine nature to sympathize with a friend's success. Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. Forgiveness is not just a humane act, but also a way to free yourself from the burden of hatred. When you forgive those who have wronged you, you not only leave them puzzled, but also show that they no longer have control over your emotions. Forgiveness is not a weakness. It's a quiet strength that allows you to move forward without being tied to the past, while those who harbor resentment remain trapped in their own cycles of bitterness. When you refuse to forgive, you imprison yourself in the confines of your own anger. But when you dare to let go, your heart finds freedom. Forgiveness is not about erasing the wrongs of others. It's about telling yourself that you refuse to let those wrongs define who you are. Your enemies want you to be consumed by resentment while they continue living their lives. But by forgiving, you turn the tables. Your indifference becomes the strongest response, leaving them surprised, perhaps even irritated, because they no longer hold any power over you. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It doesn't demand that you trust them again or allow them back into your life. It simply means you choose to release the negative emotions weighing down your heart. It's a declaration that you live for yourself and not under the shadow of someone else's actions. Life is too short to carry hatred. Instead, focus on what brings you joy, your bigger goals, and the relationships that truly matter. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not to others. And when you achieve it, you'll find that peace and freedom are the most beautiful answers to the pain you've endured. Your enemies may never admit it, but they will realize that they can no longer hurt you. That realization in itself is your victory. Behind every exquisite thing that existed, there was something tragic. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. Anyone who lives within their means suffers from a lack of imagination. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Everything in the world is about sex, except sex. Sex is about power. Experience is merely the name men gave to their mistakes. Humanity takes itself too seriously. It is the world's original sin. If the caveman had known how to laugh, history would have been different. The only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it. I never put off till tomorrow what I can possibly do the day after. Selfishness is not living as one wishes to live. It is asking others to live as one wishes to live. Every portrait that is painted with feeling is a portrait of the artist, not of the sitter. The only way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it. I can resist everything except temptation. Whenever people agree with me, I always feel I must be wrong. The world is a stage, but the play is badly cast. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. Life, at times, feels like a relentless stream of challenges beyond our control. There are days when you feel stuck in the depths of hardship, weighed down by failures and sorrows. Yet even in the darkest moments, there is always a choice. You can bow your head to what has happened, or you can lift it, seeking hope amidst the chaos. It's the act of looking at the stars from the gutter that defines how you live and overcome this life. No one journeys through life without moments of feeling lost or defeated. But the difference lies not in the struggles you face, but in how you respond to them. Those who gaze up at the stars aren't people who don't suffer. They simply choose to look beyond, to find light amidst the darkness. It's not blind optimism, but an inner strength to believe that something beautiful still lies ahead. Those stars may be dreams, hope, or even the simple belief that tomorrow can be better than today. They are the guiding lights that help you remember life is not confined to the pain or mundanity of the present. Each time you look up, you give yourself a chance to escape limitation and see that you are not just bound to the gutter you stand in, but also to the vast, infinite possibilities above. Remember, looking up doesn't mean denying reality. It's about nurturing the belief that life still holds goodness and that today's struggles are just a small chapter in a much greater journey. Every time you spot a star, however faint, you grant yourself permission to dream, to hope, and to trust in possibilities yet unseen. Life doesn't promise an easy path, but it always gives you the choice of how to walk it. You can remain stuck in the pain, or you can lift your head, look at the stars, and move toward the light you deserve. Because in the end, it is the hope we carry in adversity that truly defines who we are. Work is the curse of the drinking classes. A good friend will always stab you in the front. Women are meant to be loved, not to be understood.